Europe just raised the price of XRP to over $30,000. This is because both Ripple and the European Union, EU, have approved the digital euro program. The digital euro will be used to make payments easier all over Europe and will be built using Ripple and XRP ledger technology. You need to know that every single day, the European Union, Europe as a whole, and its countries make trillions of dollars possible. All of this is about to start going into the XRP system. Again, these are not my words. They are the words of the leading chairman of the European Union, who spoke in public about the progress of the digital euro program and how they worked with Ripple to create a digital euro that will make it easier to send money across borders all over Europe. Also, I'll play the clip for you soon, but I have a lot to talk about in today's video because this has to have a direct effect on the price of XRP, right? Before, there were reports of Ripple lawyers or other people saying that the Ripple team met with members of the finance ministry of a European country like Luxembourg. We already knew that Ripple worked closely with the Central Bank of France, banks in Britain and the United Kingdom, and banks in Ireland. All of these countries are in Europe. Now, the digital euro is being built on the XRP system. All of these countries will use it. And all of this is happening at the most crazy time possible. Just a few days ago, we talked about the idea that XRP is going to reach over $8,000 because trillions of dollars are going to flow into the XRP ledger from a new market, the real world asset market. The institutions are now adding to the XRP database. Now we hear that the digital euro that is backed by Europe and all of its countries is going to actually happen. Look at this now. The volume for XRP has gone up since that began. It's now over 4.11 billion XRP in payouts, about 295 million yesterday. Without a doubt, a huge growth. And it's been 24 hours, but there have been a lot more deals and bigger amounts of money moving around. The percentage change is a 1,291% rise. The number of ledgers now stands at about 1.7 million, and the average speed of a ledger is 3.5 seconds. So in the next couple of hours, we should see another breakout, a big one that will bring the price of XRP back up to $3.50 and maybe even start shooting through the roof as it heads toward $5. Once more, this is in hours. There are no days in this case. These are real hours we're talking about. Hey guys, what a great way to start this video than by giving you some free XRP that you can use to get a nice juicy bag without spending a dime. Yes, Apple and I work together to give everyone who watches today's movie $100. With that much money, you can buy a nice bag of XRP. And now is the time to get it because XRP could break out at any time. It's actually very close. So all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel with your own notifications, share this video, and most importantly, sign up for Apple using the link in the description and make a purchase. The purchase could be for any amount, but you'll get the juicy bonus. After giving it some thought, $30,000 per XRP is not a big surprise. It's not the first time that the number 30,000 per XRP has been brought up. It's actually been here for years. Jimmy Valley, managing director of Vill Hill Capital, has said in public that he thinks XRP could be worth at least $10,000 to $30,000 or $35,000. This is after it is regulated and proven to be the world's bridge currency. I'm going to play this clip for you, but he later changed his mind and said that XRP's price could reach $50,000 if it were widely used around the world. Once more, you need to know that the $30,000 price is not new. In fact, it makes a lot of sense when you think about how much money the XRP record will handle because it includes many different markets, such as the real estate market, the payment market, and the real estate asset market. That could be fixed in a number of ways, but it could also be fixed by putting rules on top of everything else. But we know it's coming soon, right? So when I say imminent, I mean that I wouldn't be surprised if we were still in the SEC case in 3 months. I think that the way things are going in the world means that we'll need a solution like XRP for liquidity rather soon. Now that it's been magically fixed, the question is, where does the price go? It's likely to be a number with 2 digits. So I believe it goes up right away to $10 or even $20. I think the wild card is that there is a deal between states and central banks to make XRP the world's bridge currency. It would be a neutral asset that central banks could trade with each other to change fiat currencies. If that happens, it's back to what we were talking about before. It needs to cover most of the money. I also think you're looking at an area where XRP would agree to settle. This would happen right away, and each coin would be worth between $10,000 and $35,000. It's possible that our lives will be the same or different. I think they will be a little different. Let's go back to where we began and talk about the numbers, information, and specifics of 30,000 XRP, and the fact that the European Union and many other governments, institutions, and countries are building on the XRP system. And this has really been growing for a while now. Back in 2023, a report came out that proved that more than 4,000 banks did not want to work with Ripple after the huge XRP court win. By 2025, that number will likely be much higher, with about 6,000 banks around the world either planning to use XRP or already doing so. One very important thing, though, is that all US debt could be paid for with XRP through the Federal Reserve payment system. It's also the number $650 trillion, which is about $654.39 trillion, that always stands out to me and everyone else in the community. It's about to be added to the XRP database. And now this is really big. Imagine getting all this money, which would lead to goods going out for XRP and XRPL, but more importantly for the project on the XRP ledger that it will help make possible. That's $654 trillion. The exact same thing we're talking about today. In the end, it comes down to RealFi. That's right. RealFi is opening up the real estate market, which is worth $654.39 trillion. All of this is done with the XRP system and real token technology. It is also used to build real tokens. That means you're talking about the whole XRP system. This is very important because RealFi is going to open up a big new market, and they have already started to do that. RealFi has publicly unlocked over $2 billion worth of properties, such as more than 10,000 properties in the last couple of weeks. And you can buy all of it with their real token through the XRP system. Of course, their real code is being used by RealFi, and they've now made it public that their infrastructure is done and they want to grow. They are going to increase acceptance. They are going to make the XRP ledger and the real coin, which is based on the XRP ledger, more useful. Guys, this is a huge deal. This is crazy. And it's clear I'm very optimistic because look at this, guys. This is the real coin. Guys, if you look at it, this thing is highly likely to break out. In other words, it's very strong and doesn't have much resistance. Oh my God, this chart is so beautiful. Just a few weeks ago, real coin was worth 1/100th of a penny. The whole real ticket went live about 3 months ago when it was worth less than 1/100th of a penny. It's now 3 cents, which is almost 4 cents. The breakout hasn't even begun yet, though. That is, it will begin. You know this because the real token isn't listed on a single centralized market. People haven't even talked about it. There isn't a business plan. There's nothing.